thank you everyone for attending Toastmasters. Today, I would like to talk about CrossFit. 2 weeks ago, my friends invited me to run a half marathon. I gladly accepted it, not knowing what I got myself into. It was a fun experience. To my surprise, I was able to finish the half marathon. More surprisingly, I was able to finish the half marathon ahead of my friends, not behind them, given that they have been running for such a long time. And it just made me wonder where that endurance came from. And I began to realize it must have been the CrossFit program that I involved myself in for the last 6 months. So today I'm going to talk to you about what CrossFit is, and hopefully at the end of my speech, you'll be convinced enough that you will join me for the next CrossFit workout. So what is CrossFit? CrossFit is a strength and conditioning program. It's not a specialized fitness program, but rather a deliberate attempt to optimize your physical competence in the areas of cardiovascular, respiratory, endurance, stamina, strength, flexibility, speed, power, agility, accuracy, and balance. Unlike any traditional typical workout, which focuses on isolation movements and long-winded cardiovascular aerobic sessions, CrossFit works exclusively with compound movements and shorter, high-intensity cardiovascular sessions. By compound movements, I mean movements that involve multiple parts of your body. For example, as opposed to doing bicep curl, CrossFit will emphasize or encourage doing pull-ups that not only involve your biceps, but as your hips as well, because as you're pulling yourself up on the bar, you will be able to use your hips to swing yourself up. So it's a multi-joint exercise in the sense that you're not only involving your biceps, but as well as your hips. Why compound movements? Because compound and functional movements and high-intensity cardiovascular aerobic sessions is radically more effective at eliciting nearly desirable fitness results. Now, on the board here, I have drawn a CrossFit method, which is a pyramid with the foundation being the diet. Diet lays the foundation for fitness and health, and on top of diet there is metabolic conditioning, which builds the capacity in 3 metabolic pathways, that is aerobic, lactic acid, and phosphocreatine pathways. I will talk about what CrossFit diet is a little bit later, but let me just kind of describe what the CrossFit method is. So there are exercises that are related to metabolic conditioning. There are exercises that train you to be a good gymnast. So the idea of this component in the pyramid is so that you will be able to establish functional capacity for body control and range of motion. And on top of that, CrossFit also trains you to become a good weightlifter. This is to develop ability for you to control external objects and produce power. And finally, out of all these exercises that involve your diet, metabolic conditioning, gymnastics, and weightlifting, you can go into all sorts of sports. You can apply CrossFit method in a competitive environment with more randomized movements and skill mastery. Now let me talk about the diet. CrossFit diet follows the caveman diet. Basically, you can eat lean meats, vegetables, nuts, seeds with little starch or no sugar. Avoid food that have high glycemic carbohydrates because they will cause cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular heart diseases. Food that have high glycemic carbohydrates are rice, noodles, candy, potatoes, sweets, sodas, any form of the most processed carbohydrates. So right here I've laid down the breakdown of caloric intake for protein, carbohydrates, and fat. So there's 30%. So say a given person who takes in 3,000 calories a day. So 30% of which will be attributed to protein, 40 will be carbs, and 30% will be fat. And a gram of protein is 4 calories, a gram of carbs is 4, and a gram of fat is 9 calories. For a person who works out fairly moderately, he should take about 0.7 grams of protein per 1 pound of lean body mass. So what I mean, for a person who works out a lot, that is 1-to-1 ratio. So let's take an example of a girl who weighs 90 pounds, and she works out a lot. So that she takes 90 grams of protein because that's what per 1 pound of body weight. So 90 grams of protein, which is equivalent to 360 calories, because 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, right? So this is 30% of the protein intake, which means that her total calorie intake for the day is 1,200 calories, which is equivalent to 480 calories of carbohydrates, because this is 40% of the total calorie intake. And this is worked out to be 120 grams of carbs, so on and so forth. Then you can do the math and figure out how many grams of fat that a person should take. Okay, so I've just described the diet, but what about an example exercise, CrossFit exercise? An example CrossFit exercise would just be the simple air squat like that. Okay, so this is a compound movement because not only involves your quads, it also involves your lower back and basically your upper body as well, because you're using your arms to get yourself up from that low position. And a CrossFit workout would simply just be a combination of all these exercises added together. What is the time commitment? CrossFit workout is usually 45 to 60 minutes. Study has shown that the intensity of the training is not sustainable beyond 45 to an hour. So world-class age group strength and training conditioning is obtainable through an hour of workouts for 6 days of a week of training. So in summary, CrossFit is a strength and conditioning program that is good for everybody, and most of the gyms, CrossFit gyms, offer classes, operate in the format of classes so that you can get the attention of the trainer and most importantly, the motivation from all your classmates. It's a great experience, it's very addictive, and I would encourage you to try it out and experience what CrossFit has to offer. So thank you so much everyone, happy CrossFitting.